Behind the camera. Yeah. There we go. Hello.
Oh, he said it on his head. Big ring.
Yes. Felicity, the Countess, is somewhat plagued by the fact that her son has decided to marry an American movie star. And he's very enamored and she's very glamorous. She has a history and a past. And Felicity is very anxious that the home of Marshwood and all the estates of Marshwood, the earldom itself will probably pass into the wrong hands, and she wants the tradition to be carried on well. And she knows her son very well indeed, and he's been quite a playboy and has never really completely given his heart to anybody, so she's not sure that this new young movie star is the right lady for him.
Well, this is definitely the most glamorous movie I've ever been in, and I really, really reveled in the costumes and makeup like I've never done on a movie before. We did a lot of research, and I was able to pour through books and these fashion books and, you know, old Hollywood magazines, and delving into the old music of the time to sort of to really get into it. So it was definitely fun doing the research and really getting into the role.
Stand by, please. Forward, take. Nice and quiet.
On the way here, we went to visit the old house. Oh, it gave me a dreadful pang to see the window of Mother's room, the one she died in.
I expect you nursed her devotedly, didn't you?
I did the best I could, but it wasn't much.
And were you all alone, with no brother or father or sister?
Father died when I was very young, and I had one sister, but she was a great deal older than me.
I think that although he wrote with wit and what would seem a sort of flippant air, he actually wrote very warmly about people, and there's far more depth to his characters than you would imagine at first glance. Although they may seem brittle and sometimes even silly and affected, they're actually not. And that's been a surprise for me too, because at first I thought, well, maybe Felicity is one of those ladies that sort of thinks from the neck up only, but she's not. She's got a real heart, and she's really very worried.
I do hope these sordid disclosures about my childhood aren't shocking you.
Oh, not at all. I find them absolutely fascinating. Don't you, Moxie?
I certainly do. I was born in the gutter within the sound of Bow Bells. I like coffee. I'm proud of it.
I'm sure you are. It must be lovely.
Yep. Thank you very much. We've got
Welcome home, my lord. Miss, I shall attend to your luggage.
Very good, Creswell.
Why, hello, everybody.
Miranda, welcome to Marshwood, my dear.
Julie was really straightforward. I mean, when we started the project, you go through fantasy casting. You go through who would be perfect for the role, and Julie was top of the list, and you kind of just send the script off. We were really fortunate. Her manager loved it, sent it to Julie, and again, the common thing is you wait months for somebody to respond. I mean, I think Julie came back to us within about a fortnight and said, yeah, this is a really interesting project.
Well, it's a wonderful role. I can't imagine any actress not wanting to play it. It's just rich and full and funny, and slightly, one feels slight sympathy for her.
Insufferable! You're dead right! Oh, it all sounds very touching. You standing in a slum, gazing up a Mum's window. But it might interest you to know that Mum died in hospital. And also, she wouldn't have died at all if you hadn't broken her heart by running off to America with that trumped-up, seedy agent. How dare you speak to me like that? What kind of sick charade is this anyway? Is this how you get your kicks over here?
Miranda, none of this was done to hurt you.
Oh, yeah? Well, then why the hell was it done at all?
We had a week in that house where it's mainly filmed, the stories, and we all sat about and you talked about the script, and then you go off on tangents, especially if Stephen Fry's there, because he knows something about everything. And so you're off. And it was lovely actually being in the house as well, because it's not a... it was all being decorated all around us, and we all, you know, you getting dressed there and stuff. So you felt it was like a set of a play in many ways. That was rather nice. You got to know it really well.
You were born at number 3, Station Road, Sidcup. And if you can hear the sound of bow bells from Sidcup, you must have the ears of an elk hound. What is all this hypocrisy? You have spent the entire evening dressed up like a diva and talking like a duchess. I got enough of this! Nigel!
I mean, this social comment is as timely today as it was when he wrote it, which is, you know, what is the class structure and is there still one? And I think he wrote about pretty good issues, actually.
Well, I understand you wish to speak to Miss Frail privately, sir.
Bingo. You see, Miranda and me, well, we're, old friends.
Yes, sir. It was cognizance of this fact that tinctured my spontaneous pleasure at meeting you with a modicum of apprehension.
What?
Sequestered as we are, sir, in our remote Kentish vacuum, we're not entirely out of touch with the larger world beyond. We have been privileged, thanks to the silver screen and the various periodicals appertaining to it, to follow your public and private affairs with the keenest interest.
The fact of Julie Andrews here has been really extraordinary. I mean, even, you know, the Americans, you know, Gene and Billy, after the first day were, you know, coming and saying, I just did a scene with Julie goddamn Andrews. I don't believe it. I just did a scene with Julie Andrews. I did think Julie knows just how deeply she has penetrated the minds and consciousnesses of our generation.
She did at one point look out of the window. There was a bit of a lull in the library, and she looked out the window, and it was very hot and everything. And she just suddenly burst into song, and it happened to be The Hills Are Alive, and that was very thrilling. Everyone went, what?
What was lovely is how welcomed I was, welcomed back, and became instantly part of the gang. And no, I found it very refreshing to do. Being a woman, I've seen the way she looks at you, the tone of her voice when she speaks.
She told me she never wants to talk to me again.
Oh, people only say things like that when they're passionately in love.
What can I do? She's gonna be married, right? It's all set.
Oh, dear. Seems like our girl guides have stormed the barricades again. Look, don't do anything for now. Just wait. Above all, keep up your courage and don't admit defeat.
Duty calls.
I didn't know him terribly well, but our paths crossed often, and enough that we knew each other to say hello and have a hug and things like that. And it was during the years of My Fair Lady on Broadway mostly. He was a great friend of Rex Harrison's. And I have some wonderful memories of him singing at a private party that I went to and a few things like that. He was very kind. He was a gentleman, very encouraging and funny.
You're broke. And your career's on the skids ever since you did Rhinestones Round My Heart. Putting your own money into that stinker was the biggest mistake of your life.
Will you shut up, for crying out loud? Someone will hear you.
What do I care? I hope they do hear. Hey!
Why are you trying to ruin my life? Why don't you just leave me alone? Huh?